In this video, I am going to show how to set up for synchronizing synthesizers to a drum machine so that you can do some live tweaking. If you want to play acid, you can. If you want to just have fun doing whatever style you want, you can do that too. So let me show you the gear. Alright, Roland TR-8S. This is going to be providing all of the clock signals. I've got a Matrixbrute receiving the signal from the Roland and the Prophet 12. Now they're all playing right now. I just have everything muted so I can talk to you. So let's talk. Sync out has to be on. Tempo sync, since this is acting as the master clock signal, is set to internal. Now what it's going to do is those signals are coming out, in this case just over the USB connection. Now I am routing them through a computer, but I'm not using a DAW, if that matters to anybody one way or another, even though it shouldn't. Okay, so signals coming out. Now how do I get it in the Brute? Well, check this out. See if I can go to the right mode here. There we go. Press all three buttons. Now, if you've read the manual, which is actually wrong, at least in the early edition, clock source, let's press that button. Let's press some buttons. Clock source, clock source MIDI, clock source USB. Well, I am connected on MIDI. Clock means internal clock, so I want this on MIDI. So the Brute's clock source is on MIDI. So that is row D, column, well, 3. That would get out of that. So I've got a sound in here, all programmed in. It's a pretty little sound. Press MIDI sync. Now watch this. This will be interesting. So I've taken this out. We're not synchronized at the moment. It's not reading the signal. We can change this tempo to whatever we want. Now when it tries to sync to the drum machine, it's going to try to hit 128. There's no way it's going to get that immediately. Okay, so watch this. This is what you will see. This is perfectly normal. So it takes a couple beats to sink in. Now it's synced in. Okay. Now, I'm not actually playing it at the moment, since I turned off the arpeggiator. So what was I doing? I don't know. So we're just going to get some notes. We'll give a listen. What's going on here? This might be too loud, but we can adjust. Okay, you get the idea. I'm going to turn this back down a little. Make things a little more quiet. We'll just mute this. Now, I'm not going to show the next synth yet. I want to get back over here to how they're being connected together. This is MIDI-OX. So MIDI-OX shows me a couple of key things here. One, I have my MIDI devices. That's one way of looking at your connectivity. The other way is through MIDI port routing. These actually both show the same information. One just shows it as a picture, the other shows it as a list of devices and how they're connected. So I have one input, the drum machine, two outputs. Port 1 is the Prophet 12, port 2 is the Matrixbrute. I'm sending a bunch of information on those. I mean, it's just sending everything, even though I'm not using all those other channels. It's just an easier setup. Okay. So if we look at the picture, TR-8S connected to port 1, connected to port 2. Notice I don't have any connections. Well, my outputs are not connected to my inputs. Okay, so the Prophet is not sending MIDI data, and neither is the Brute. I don't want that. If you have all of these interconnected, sending bidirectionally, you will confuse your instruments. You'll be sending so much MIDI data, you are going to cause them to not be able to interpret it all, cause some glitches in the UI, slow down the processors in the synthesizers. I know because I've done it. We're already sending and routing a lot of data. You know, this is the input monitor. There's also an output monitor. I don't know why I'm not seeing that, but whatever. Oh, it's probably this one right here. There you go. So there's already a lot of data moving around. You see most of it says timing clock, okay, because of the drum machine. So I don't need those though. So we've already shown that the Brute is getting clock from the Roland. Now we've got to show the same on the Prophet 12. So your mileage may vary, but you're going to have some settings. And in your settings you're going to see things about clocks. Clock mode, there's several modes: off, master, slave. We want slave. Slave through would be as if I was using MIDI and wanted to pass that signal on. I could do that. I could do this all without using MIDI-OX, but MIDI-OX makes it a little easier and I don't have to change my cables around. Clock cable, the MIDI port. You know, heck, you're not able to read those. There you go. MIDI port and slave. There is a USB port on this, but I'm using the MIDI port. And that's it. Those are the only settings you need. Now, because I messed with this and turned off the clock temporarily, this might not be set right. So we're going to go back to the arpeggiator. Going to hit the show button. Oh, can I do this at the same time? No. So now I'm in the arpeggiator settings. There's the clock division, 1 octave. Let's look at miscellaneous, 128 BPM. Well, we know where that's coming from. It's coming from the drum machine. So let's see. I think something's still playing here, so let's find out. That weird little sound, that's the Prophet 12, it's arpeggio. It's kind of interesting. Okay. You can hear the beat being superimposed in there kind of nicely, so you can get in a little groove. And then just add some stuff. Let's see. Now I'm in a similar, well actually I think the same tempo, 1/16 divisions. But you can do whatever you want. Just whatever floats your boat as you try to do something cool. But now you're at least all synced up. Oh, and you can do this too. They're just all going to track on up because they're synced. Very nice, huh? All right, so the MIDI clock is your friend. It works really well, and then you can have a lot of fun just messing with your gear. Maybe you put in a contrasting little patterns